October 14th, 1888. We have found the source of the lights. They are not reflections. They are not lanterns, and they are not stars. Something is moving beneath the mountain. We have decided to go down and see what it is. God help us. That was the last entry in Dr. Malcolm Fraser's field journal. 3 days later, I arrived in the valley looking for him. I'd been asked to accompany the search party because I knew the area better than most and, according to Professor Bell, possessed the unfortunate combination of curiosity and stubbornness required for the work. I considered this an unkind description. I also considered it accurate. The village below the mountain was small enough that everyone seemed to know everyone else's business. When I asked about Fraser's expedition, the room became quiet. The innkeeper stopped polishing a glass. An old shepherd near the fireplace crossed himself. "You'll not be going up there," he said. I asked why. He looked toward the window. "Because the mountain has started showing its lights again. I saw them that evening. At first I thought they were lanterns. 3 pale lights moved slowly across the mountainside. They appeared, disappeared, then appeared again farther away. My guide, Angus McRae, refused to look at them. "Corpse candles," he muttered. I laughed. He did not. According to local tradition, such lights were believed to mark the place where someone was destined to die. I explained that there were several perfectly reasonable causes for unusual lights in the wilderness. Angus asked if any of those reasonable causes could walk across a mountain. I admitted that I had never personally observed one doing so. He decided this proved his point. I decided it proved nothing. The following afternoon we reached Dr. Fraser's camp. Nothing appeared disturbed. The tents remained standing. A cooking pot sat beside the cold fire. There were 3 pairs of boots near one tent. 3. But there had been 5 men in the expedition. Their surveying instruments were still there. Their food stores were untouched. Their notebooks were scattered across a table. That frightened me more than the lights. Men who intend to leave do not abandon their boots. I began reading through the notes. The first entries were ordinary: measurements, weather observations, rock samples. Then the writing changed. The entries became increasingly difficult to understand. October 12th. The lights appeared again at approximately 9 o'clock. Fraser believes they originate from the lower ravine. October 13th. There is a sound beneath the mountain. It resembles distant voices. October 14th. We have found an opening in the rock. The air inside is unusually warm. There are lights below. We are going down. I looked toward Angus. He was staring at the mountain. "We leave in the morning," he said. I told him we would leave after determining what happened to the expedition. He told me I'd just read what happened. I told him I wanted to know why. He sighed. I believe that was the moment he decided I was impossible. We found the opening just before sunset. It was concealed behind a curtain of fallen stone and brush. Warm air flowed from the darkness. I noticed it immediately. The air smelled faintly of damp earth and something I could not identify. Angus refused to enter. I went alone. The passage descended gradually. The walls were wet. Small patches of pale fungus grew across the fallen timber. Then I saw the lights. They were tiny, blue-white. They glowed along a rotting log beside the passage. I knelt beside them. The fungus itself was producing the light. I recognized the phenomenon immediately. Foxfire. I laughed aloud. I had solved the mystery. Or so I thought. Then I heard someone whisper my name. "Beatrice." I froze. The voice had come from farther down the passage. "Beatrice." It sounded like a man. I called back. No answer. I raised my lantern. The flame suddenly became very small, then smaller. I held it higher. The flame flickered violently. Angus shouted from behind me, "Out!" I turned. He was standing at the entrance. His face had gone white. "The air," he said. I understood. A lantern flame requires oxygen. Something in that cavern was displacing it. I backed toward the entrance. Then I saw something on the ground. A man's coat. Beside it was a notebook. Dr. Fraser's. I opened the notebook. The final pages were written in increasingly uneven handwriting. The lights are fungus. The sounds are caused by air passing through the tunnels. McIntyre believes the air contains something dangerous. Then another entry. We have been sleeping badly. Headaches. Difficulty concentrating. I stopped reading. Carbon dioxide. It was the most likely explanation. The gas was heavier than ordinary air. It could collect in the lowest parts of the cavern. A person could walk directly into it without realizing anything was wrong. At first there might be a headache, then dizziness, confusion, loss of coordination, unconsciousness, death. The lights were not supernatural. The voices were not ghosts. The mountain was simply producing an environment capable of killing anyone careless enough to enter it. I should have left immediately. Instead, I went looking for the remaining men. That was my mistake. I found the lower chamber, and I found the expedition. 2 men were dead. One had collapsed beside the wall. Another lay near the entrance to the chamber. There was no sign of the other 3. I was turning back when the mountain shook. The sound was enormous. Rock fell behind me. The entrance disappeared. I was trapped. My lantern went out. For several seconds, there was complete darkness. Then the lights appeared, dozens of them. They seemed to float around me. For one ridiculous moment, I understood why the villagers believed in ghosts. Then my mind began to clear. No, not ghosts. Fungus. I forced myself to remember what I knew. The gas would collect low. I needed higher ground. I climbed. As I climbed, I heard the sound again. A long, low groan. The mountain seemed to breathe. Air rushed through a narrow opening somewhere above me. The sound rose and fell. Then came another sound. Footsteps. I stopped. Someone was walking behind me. Slowly. I turned. Nothing. Then I heard Fraser's voice. "Beatrice." I nearly answered. Instead, I held my breath. The voice came again, but this time I understood. It wasn't Fraser. It was the wind. The passage was narrowing, and the air was being forced through the rock. It created a sound remarkably similar to a human voice. I laughed. Then I nearly fell over. My head was spinning. The gas was rising. I had spent too long in the lower chamber. I crawled upward. I found the second passage by accident. Cold air struck my face. Fresh air. I followed it. The passage became narrower. I removed my coat, dropped my pack, crawled. Behind me the mountain groaned again. I kept moving. Then I saw daylight. I crawled toward the light. The opening was barely wide enough for me to pass through. I pushed my hands against the stone and pulled myself forward. Cold air struck my face. For the first time in hours, I could breathe without fear. I was almost out. Then the mountain moved again. The sound came from behind me. A deep crack, then another. I looked back. Dust filled the passage. I pulled myself forward. My fingers slipped against the wet stone. I could hear rocks falling behind me. I kept moving. The opening narrowed around my shoulders. I removed my coat and pushed it ahead of me. Then I crawled through. I fell onto the snow. For several seconds I could do nothing but breathe. The sky above me was pale with morning. I had survived the night, but I was not alone. Angus found me nearly an hour later. He had returned to the village for help. He later told me that when he saw me lying in the snow, he thought I was dead. I told him I was merely resting. He informed me that this was an unacceptable way to rest. I agreed. The remaining members of the expedition were eventually found. 2 had died inside the cavern. One had wandered several miles from camp and was found alive. The final two had descended through another passage and escaped before the collapse. The cause of the strange lights was documented. The sounds were explained. The gas was measured. The cave entrance was sealed. No ghosts were found. No spirits were discovered. No curse was placed upon the mountain. Only geology. Only fungi. Only gases trapped beneath the earth. And yet, I admit something. On my final evening in the valley, I saw the lights again, 3 of them, moving slowly across the mountainside. I knew exactly what they were. Foxfire, nothing more. I watched them until they disappeared into the darkness. Then I packed my things. I decided that I had learned enough about the mountain. There are some questions that deserve answers. There are others that deserve distance. I remain a woman of science. I do not believe in ghosts. I do, however, believe that mountains are perfectly capable of killing people without supernatural assistance. And if anyone should ever invite me to investigate another haunted mountain, I shall ask whether the mountain has been thoroughly tested for gas first. Beatrice Ashcombe.